Now, let's get you an update on the weather. And heatwave conditions are prevailing in Odisha, and they're expected to last for another 48 hours. Heatwave conditions also prevailing in Gangetic, West Bengal today, as well as coastal parts of Andhra Pradesh. On the other side, we have very heavy showers coming in towards the northeastern part of the country, while a dust storm continues in Rajasthan till the 18th of May. My colleague Priyanshi gets us details about the heatwave conditions and record temperatures that are expected this year across states. And multiple studies suggest that cities are going to be hotter this time around, and the dweller parts of the cities have increased their temperatures, and those who work outdoors have to bear the brunt of it. Here's a report on the unequal distribution of climate change and how development is making our cities hotter.
The unequal distribution of climate change. The AC buildings protecting people from the heat while making our cities hotter for those who can't afford to stay indoors. 45-year-old Hirabai, one of those building the city's air-conditioned structures in the national capital, herself has to spend the day under the sun for a pittance of 250 rupees a day.
कभी-कभी चक्कर आ जाते हैं, कभी-कभी ऐसा लगता है कि मन नहीं होता काम करने का, फिर भी मजदूरी में करने पड़ता है। गर्मी में हमारे पास तो कोई पंखा कूलर है नहीं, पूरा रात अपने ऐसे लगता है बच्चन को भी हवा डुलाते हैं, हमको भी अगर डुला लो तो नींद आ गई तो मच्छर भी अलग से खाते हैं। गरीब आदमी को तो क्या होता है, कुछ नहीं है मैडम।
Those working on the streets are facing the unseen disadvantages of our mega cities. While climate change hits the entire world, a report by the Center for Science and Environment says that the impact is exacerbated in cities due to unsustainable development.
Last year we noticed that in Delhi, the temperature within the city was almost 5 to 8 degrees higher than the surrounding rural areas. And on certain days, which were the heat wave days, it can go up till 10 and 12 degrees within the cities. The cities are a smaller version of it. So it's a global warming within the global warming. That's why we call it urban heat island. So of course there is more pollution within the cities, there's higher carbon dioxide. So whatever heat comes during the day and hits the ground and gets trapped in the city, ideally should get radiated back into the atmosphere at the night. But because of increased pollution and also higher amount of greenhouse gases in the city, this heat, instead of going back into the space, gets trapped inside the city and remains in the city.
This trapped heat is turning Indian cities into heat chambers called urban heat islands. And the impact is not limited to just discomfort. A report by the University of Cambridge says that abnormal temperature rises from climate change could severely impact over 90% of Indians, making them vulnerable to public health issues and food shortages. The health impacts are already clear.
तब भी उतनी गर्मी नहीं रहती थी, तब तो क्या था ना, पेड़ पौधा था, उस टाइम थोड़ा बहुत छाया था, वो करते थे, हम उसी में बैठते रहते थे, कभी 10-15 मिनट ठेली चलाते हैं, फिर थोड़ा आराम कर लेते हैं, फिर चलते हैं।
ये हमारे पे पड़ता है ना गर्मी का असर, तो एसी में रहते हैं, हमारे को गर्मी का असर पड़ता है, हम धूप में रहते हैं तो हमें असर पड़ता है। परेशानी यही है, चक्कर आता है, मिनट में पानी पीना पड़ता है, कि एक सवारी उठाता पानी पीना पड़ता है, धूप ज़्यादा लगती है, भूख लगती नहीं है।
Despite record-breaking temperatures and heat waves being predicted, Delhi still doesn't have a heat action plan. The capital city's environment minister says there are no specific plans to tackle heat in the government's so-called summer action plan.
बहुत सारे एफर्ट हो रहे हैं, लेकिन उसमें ग्रीन बेल्ट को बढ़ाना सबसे कारगर उपाय है। दिल्ली के अंदर जो मानक हैं, उस मानक के हिसाब से दिल्ली का ग्रीन बेल्ट 20% होना चाहिए, जो इसका क्षेत्रफल है उसके अनुसार। आज अपने मानक से 20% से बढ़ करके 23% ग्रीन बेल्ट हो चुका है। अगर हम देखें तो इनडायरेक्ट जो ग्रीन बेल्ट बढ़ाने का जो मिशन है, वो हीट को कम करने का ही मिशन है।
Experts stress on the need for a heat action plan, pointing to basic engineering changes that don't even demand an additional investment.
industrial areas or the factories and all, which are burning furnaces and all, they produce a lot of heat, which also impacts the heat in that region. Similarly, in housing colonies and all, which uses a lot of air conditioning, the air conditioner throws out a lot of heat in the neighboring area, which also increases the temperature. In fact, air conditioning itself can raise the temperature by 2 degrees of the region.
Though the impacts of development in our mega cities such as Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad and Kolkata cannot be fully reversed, those left without an option look for a shade of relief. Keeping their passengers under shade, these rickshaw pullers work in the scorching heat themselves, representing the unequal distribution of climate change. While the developed parts of our cities are responsible for making them hotter, the true impact of the heat is not felt by the people sitting in these paths. The urban heat islands hurt those the most who didn't have a role in creating them. In New Delhi, with camera person Joseph and Sudesh Kumar Ram, Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.